saw the charisma that this man has brought to the church, but more importantly to that community of the Catholic community of Brazil, but more specifically to the youth of the world. When you think of that mass, that concluding mass last night, when he spoke to 3 million people, 2.5 miles of beach were just covered with people to see and listen to this man. There's something about it. There's something that draws them. I mean, people spend a lot of money getting there, a lot of inconvenience. The government, the state, the church jump through all kinds of hoops to welcome this man, and to see the response on the part of the young people, to see their passion and their reception and their love of this man, it's got to be refreshing for anybody, no matter what religion, to see that a man has that much effect on the world, and what he has to say is so simple, and that comes across in all of his talks that have been published and that we heard this week. What he said about gays and forgiveness, I think, was a part of a news conference on his plane. He said nothing new about it. The tradition of the church has always maintained that the church is big, and everyone is meant to be included in the church. There's room for everyone. Homosexuality for the church, in terms of its orientation, has never been a judgment in terms of excluding or isolating someone because they have an homosexual orientation. We're all called to chastity. We're all called to purity. We're all called to a way of life that is in keeping with God's purpose in creating us. And it's not the orientation that would exclude anyone from the church, but it's the lifestyle, and that the church is against. No, that will never happen, because marriage is a sacrament. Marriage is a sacrament between a man and a woman, and the purpose of marriage is to procreate, to continue your species, to continue the propagation of the faith. Yes, they need to listen to what he says and not put words in his mouth, or not hear things that they want to hear that he didn't really say. He's a very loving man. We belong to a universal church. The Catholic Church is a worldwide church. Every culture has its own understanding of what the word gay means, and it has its own sanctions, it has its own rules, it has its own laws. As we're seeing in our own country, our thinking is beginning to change in some legal and civil situations. But in other parts of the world, in the majority, I would say, of the world, it's a taboo still, and it will be for some time. And so, here is the Pope, who is as you say, the pastor of the Universal Church. What he says has to be interpreted and understood in a variety of cultures and traditions that are much less liberal than ours in the United States.